Happy June 29th. Now I'm just going to check my sound here just to make sure that you can hear me okay this morning. I think it's up okay. Yes, it seems to be just fine. So, happy June 29th. Now, June 29th is notable in history because absolutely nothing important has ever happened on June 29th. It is conspicuously absent of, uh, of anything you can write home about. So, that being said, it is your opportunity to do something that is worthy of being chiseled in the stone history of existence, that you did something important this day. So that's Saturday morning cartoons. Have a good day, everyone. But maybe I'll do something else too. Okay. Uh, in preparation for uh, my upcoming book, okay, it's all done. It's at the publishers, uh, but because it takes time before it gets put into proper shape and published. So we'll hopefully uh, next year in springtime we'll be seeing the new book. And at the moment we're titling it "Building Your House of Cards." So it's a tarot related book, and it among other attractions of the book, as far as the text and everything is concerned, it gives you the opportunity to create your own 78 card tarot deck uh, based on the black and white uncolored versions of our Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. But you're not restricted. You're free to customize things. Oh, it's a long story, but I'm very excited about the concept. And the concept's not a new one because magicians of the Golden Dawn were encouraged to create their own paint, create their own tarot deck, and the BOTA, Builders of the Adytum, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, did it too, and they provided a system, a very systematic way, spending 2 weeks coloring in your own cards and things like that. And in preparation for the book, I found something very interesting in my tarot files that's well over 50 years old. And it's my own tarot deck that I painted along with that BOTA program. But what I'm going to do first, because I ran across this in my computer files, because it's Saturday morning cartoons, isn't it? And so I just typed in the search among my documents, cartoons. It's sort of my bibliomancy for, gee, what the hell am I going to do today? And this came up. It is a foreword that I wrote at the then request of Wald and Ruth Ann Amberstone, two of the greatest tarot talents and minds of the days. who wrote a marvelous book called The Secret Language of Tarot. Now, I submitted this to them, and I don't know whether they ever used it or not. I think in subsequent editions, at least I see that our good mutual friend Mary Greer has penned a forward to it, and whether or not they left mine in or not, I don't know. Because now that I think of it, I never received it. Maybe they just didn't like it and didn't want to hurt my feelings. Whatever it is, I've got it here, and I'm going to share it with you right now. As a young man, I was introduced to tarot as an adjunct to my study of Rosicrucianism and the Hermetic Kabbalah. It was never my intention to use the cards as a divinatory tool, and actively frowned upon by the mystery school I attended through a correspondence course. That was the BOTA. Okay. Indeed, I was counseled that if I were to use the cards to tell fortunes, it would cripple me spiritually. Now, I guess that the penalty is still up to interpretation, whether it's done that or not. It's a very subjective call. I took my teachers at their word and proceeded for the next 3 years to use the cards for meditation purposes only. And of course, in the meantime, I was studying the Thoth Tarot. Part of the school's curriculum was the requirement that each student paint his or her own deck of tarot cards, trumps. The course provided an unpainted deck of 22 trumps bearing clean black outlines of the figures on each card and very strict coloring instructions. I've done the same in the upcoming book, but with all 78 cards. You can use the book itself, or I encourage you to actually go down to the stationery store, make copies, print them out on poster board, and that way you can have a real shuffleable home customized deck yourself. But I digress. Each card took 2 weeks to color, during which time certain texts and meditations were assigned. I must admit that at the end of 44 weeks, I knew every detail of those particular cards. The mystical power inherent in the images was apparent from the first week of my study. The evening I completed coloring the Fool, and I actually have it here. This is actually the card and my coloring. A little bit later, all these trumps I painted with very thick black, sort of, not black, but gold paint. For a few weeks, these smelled like an industrial hazard because an industrial accident. But anyway, I digress. The evening I completed coloring the Fool would become one of the most memorable nights of my life. During the night, I experienced a most marvelous vision. It was unlike anything I'd ever experienced, even in the 1960s. It was so intense that even after I woke up and turned on the light, the living images continued to play out across the screen of my vision. I won't bore you with the curious personal details of this nocturnal initiation. It's enough to say that it was an initiation. not an initiation into bricks and mortar order that mailed me my monographs each week, but into the temple of tarot itself. I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that my 2 weeks with the Fool card had reprogrammed my psyche and triggered a glimpse of a higher level of consciousness. What would become of me when I finished the whole deck, I thought. Okay, now I won't bore you with that story of that vision, but I will bore you with the story of that vision in one of the chapters of my life with the spirits. The chapter called Nedura and the Procession of the Elves. Excuse me. You knew I was going to plug something, didn't you? Anyway, my life with the spirits. Hey, it's also now available in audiobook, and it's doing extremely well on audiobooks. So, and it's kind of a very appropriate book for audiobook, because it's not like a textbook, with lots of graphs and charts and stuff. It's a narrative. And John Waters, who narrates the audiobook of My Life with the Spirits, is about the age I was when I wrote this. So the voice is, in a sense, of a man just about the age of the events that he's describing in my book. Okay, plug over. It's now 50 years later, tarot continues to play a central role in my life. It's my constant companion. Its perfect Kabbalistic structure and construction is a constant source of wonderment and illumination. It is the spyglass, counselor, and commentator of an examined life. And I view the streaming events of my ever-changing existence as the shuffling, spreading, and reshuffling of the cards. My relationship with the cards has long ago transcended the stage of, oh my, the damn Prince of Cups is beating me up with the Three of Discs again. These cards have ceased to be metaphoric cartoons. That's why I'm reading this, cartoons, of my intellect and reasoning process. They have literally become the communicating angels of my intuitional life. In the language of tarot, I'm moving from the world of swords to the world of cups. And tarot gives me the secret language, the vocabulary to voice such ineffable spiritual subtleties. That is perhaps tarot's greatest gift to the student of the soul. The ability to communicate with the various parts of our being, to give form and meaning to parts of our psyche that are formless and ineffable. The secret language, the gift of the god Thoth. I've long since abandoned my eschewing of tarot as a divinatory tool. This is not to say I consider my readings for other people to be a form of fortune-telling. Tarot, or indeed any oracle, cannot show us the future or directly answer our questions. Tarot is simply a vehicle of perfection. And eternal truth is revealed in perfection. Used with proper attention, such oracles serve to announce the status not of the future, but of the great now. It's the person who consults the oracle who must somehow glimpse the future or hear the answer to his or her question in that announcement. That being said, I can honestly say that I have never consciously made an important decision based on quote, information I've received from a tarot reading, especially my own. I can't read tarot cards or most any oracle except the I Ching, which doesn't give you any wriggle room to lie to yourself. But I lie to myself all the time with tarot. I mean, after all, Thoth Mercury he's the god of liars as well as the god of communication and attorneys. Okay. This is not because I don't have confidence in the wisdom and efficacy of oracles, but because I'm a self-centered, self-involved, bull-headed old fool who seldom takes advice from any of his friends or family, let alone from a pack of cards or the roll of a dice. I have, however, encountered adepts, tarot adepts, whose tarot insights are eminently worthy of decision-making counsel. Two of them are the people that wrote the book, The Language of Tarot, Wald and Ruth Ann Amberstone, whether or not they ever used this introduction or a foreword or not. Also, the great late Rachel Pollack was that level of tarot adept. Currently, Mary Greer. And my own personal, awesome tarot consultant, Miss Janet Barris. There's many, many, many others whom I know personally. I'm privileged to know personally. Anyway, that was, for all intent and purposes, my foreword, whether it was ever used or not. I share it with you on today's Saturday morning cartoons. Here is, after I did the Trumps, I went and bought this from BOTA. It's got the rest of the deck in it too, and frankly, I haven't colored it. But this is the box, well over 50 years ago. And here is the entire deck that I hand painted over the 44-week period that literally changed my life. And I'll share them with you. That's my fool. Now, what's wonderful about taking 2 weeks to paint your deck? Every one of those little things, like the spirit wheels in his robe there, or his tunic, and the flame, and the sun and the moon conjoined. And if you look hard enough, the Yod-He Vav-He in his collar. And the fact that his undergarment is white, but the outer garment is green and full of triform flowers. White rose. I believe that's an eagle and the all-seeing eye on his bag there. And the red feather, okay, the feather is the symbol also of Ma'at, the goddess of justice. Ma'at, the Egyptian vulture goddess. Ma'at, who is justice itself. And in the tarot, that's the justice card, which is Libra. And the justice card being the fulcrum of 10 cards on one side of it and 10 cards on the other side of it, justice, lamed, fool, aleph, aleph, lamed, el, or God, lamed, aleph, la, not, justice, mat, feather, is the fool's girlfriend, and vice versa. That's why Crowley in his Thoth Tarot has both of his Fool and his Justice card as being sort of like both Harlequins. Okay, both Harlequins, because they're boyfriend, girlfriend, because they're Allah. I won't take, I promise I won't take that much time on all of them. Here's my magician. Now it's very important to count the number of roses and count the number of lilies. Roses, lilies. And a very clean magician's table, wands, cups, swords, and discs. Here's the high priestess. Boy, was my mind blown for the 2 weeks that I was painting her. You see the tree of life behind her with the pomegranates and the palm trees. And there she's got the Torah, or the book of life, or the book. Yeah. The book of the law, actually. Torah means the book of the law. Okay. There's the Empress. Now, I just did this with cheap little colored pens. I think I just kind of stole from my toddler son's toys, actually. But when I was through painting them, I sprayed them with some kind of something to look how fresh and bright those colors are after over 50 years. Now, I went ahead after because I was studying the Crowley Thoth Tarot at the same time, I whited out the hay that BOTA has for the Emperor, and I put my own Zadi on there. So, but that's the Emperor. Remember, all of them have this gold backing. There is the Hierophant. And the face of the Hierophant is unmistakably the face of Paul Foster Case, the great adept of BOTA. Now, all of you who have our deck, the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, will remember that I put my face on my version of the Hierophant, not because I think I'm a big adept or anything else, but that I'm just a big self-centered narcissist. If you could put your face on a tarot deck, you would too. So admit it. Okay, there's the Lover's card. Okay, now I wish I could get the gold reflecting off the light above there, so you can. The gold is actually a kind of a metallic thing. I used a pretty good gold paint for my gold. There's Lovers, the Chariot, Okay. Do you see that device that's in the shield there, surmounted by a winged solar disk? That device is a Shiva lingam. Okay, because he's the bearer of the Holy Grail. Okay, see the geomantic figures in his skirt there? Figures from geomancy. See the sort of a version of the triple tav on his breastplate. And that Shiva lingam, a proper one, and the one that's described there, isn't just a penis-shaped rock. It's an almost elongated egg-shaped rock that's in a vagina-shaped bowl. Okay, and it's inserted in it in the same way as the great rite of the witches would have a dagger going into the cup to represent that union of opposites. Okay, there's the Justice card. As you can see, I've returned it to the original Tarot of Marseille sequence. But that's the Justice card. That's the Fool's girlfriend. She does look pretty butch, but you're not sure what the Fool is either. And that's a good thing. There's the Hermit, giving his light to the world. And he's got a hat, a blue hat there that's kind of hard to see, in the shape of a yod, which is his Hebrew letter. The Wheel of Fortune. Pretty standard stuff. The Strength card. I've returned to the Tarot of Marseille sequence for that too. Now, no matter what, the Strength card, the woman with the lion, always had a not so subtle reference to the whore of Babylon that rides the beast in the book of the Revelation, because a lot of the early tarot cards represented certain events of the Bible, certain aspects of the Bible, like the Last Judgment, things like that. So this is the Babylon. She's always been Babylon and the beast conjoined. The Hanged Man. There's significance to the number of buttons on his tunic. Okay. The Death card. God, the reds just held up so good in 50 years. Now, the BOTA has a curious little thing there in the Death card. Now, we can speculate as to what that is. In the Thoth deck, it's the Orphic egg that's getting itself warmed up in the putrefaction of the Scorpio Death card. Sort of like the heat generated by a compost pile. Temperance card. Okay. Crowley goes a step further and changes the alchemical colors on the lion, who's usually red. He's turned white in this card, and the eagle, that's usually white, has turned red. But Case chose not to do that for some reason. But anyway, it's a wonderful, beautiful card. And there's a rainbow. Now that rainbow on a tree of life. Okay, hang on. Because the BOTA provides a beautiful little tree of life too. Okay. That rainbow, see, goes right above the foundation area there. Okay. And separating, you know, that lower part of the tree from, and the Temperance card is the Samic card, and that's that 14 right in the middle. So it's like an arrow pointing up right to the heart area, to number 6. Just like that. Okay. And the Devil card, which I just love the Devil. You knew I would, okay? But I just love the little acolytes. They're just such hot little characters, literally. But look, they're chained. They're chained to the Lord of the Gates of Matter there. But look, they could take the chains off any way they want. They're just doing it for a little S&M fun. Oh, don't quote me there. Okay. The Tower. The Star. And I've returned the Star to Hay, thalamatizing this. The Moon. Now, the weeks that I was working on the Moon card, as I recall, as I allow myself to call, were 2 weeks of pure madness, as opposed to chaotic madness, which is the rest of my life. Anyway, that soon was taken over by a wonderful sort of wholesome ego boost that came with the painting of the sun. The Judgment card, Last Judgment card. Now, in a way, these characters rising from the grave are making more or less the stylized hand gestures of the LVX signs. Sign of Osiris risen, sign of Apophis and Typhon for the kid, sign of Isis in mourning. That's not quite Isis in mourning, but it's enough, and they're being raised up not by the angel Gabriel, but by the angel Israfel. Okay, and finally, the Universe card. Okay, that's the cartoons for today. And it's sort of my plug of the wonderful people at the BOTA. I don't know how active or inactive they are, but I believe their correspondence course is still available. I'm not being an ad for them, other than to say that I do have great respect for Paul Foster Case, sort of an American Golden Dawn saint. And even though he didn't like Crowley very well, and even though he was kind of paranoid about Enochian magic, most any book that you get by Paul Case will be a enlightening and rewarding experience. So that's it. That's it for Saturday morning cartoons. Uh, Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Now I'm going to get out of this turtleneck because right now it's comfortable in here, but it's due to get 97 degrees outside today, which is 11 degrees cooler than it's expected to get next week. Pray for me. Pray for Constance. She takes the heat much better than I do. Anyway, I digress. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.